There are dinners that seem harmless, dinners you have eaten your whole life, perhaps a little bread, something sweet, whatever was left over from lunch. Simple things, comfortable, familiar. But after 60, what once went unnoticed now begins to wear down your body without you realizing it. It's not a matter of exaggeration, nor of living in fear of food. But there is something that nobody tells us clearly. At this age, the rules change. Metabolism no longer works the same. Digestion becomes slower. The body takes longer to recover, and the small mistakes that used to correct themselves now accumulate. Today, we're going to talk about something very concrete and powerful. The 3 dinners you must avoid if you've already passed 60 years of age. 3 types of dinners that are very common, even normal, but that according to doctors, nutritionists, and older people who have made the shift, can be accelerating aging, damaging your nighttime rest, and causing your body to lose strength, muscle mass, and vitality. I'm going to explain why these dinners are a problem, what happens inside your system when you consume them, and which simple, nutritious alternatives you can incorporate instead. This is not just about aesthetics, not even just about nutrition. It's about your energy when you wake up, about your heart health, about your bones, about your digestion, about that mental clarity that, little by little, begins to slip away if you don't take care of it. Because after 60, it's not simply a matter of eating less or lighter. It's a matter of eating with awareness, of giving the body what it truly needs to repair itself, to sustain itself, to withstand the passage of time with dignity. Changing what you have for dinner might seem like a minor detail, but it can completely transform how you feel on the inside. So stay with me, because by the end of this video, you won't only know what to avoid, you'll have clarity on how to take better care of yourself, at night, in peace, and with the power to choose what does help you. And before we begin, I would love to know more about you. How old are you, and from where are you watching this video? Leave it in the comments. I'll be delighted to read your messages and get to know you a little more. Throughout life, our body changes. That much we all know. But there is something we often overlook. With the years, the way our body processes food also changes, especially at night. After 60, metabolism becomes slower. Digestive enzymes no longer work with the same intensity. Insulin, that hormone that helps regulate blood sugar, becomes less efficient, especially once the sun has already gone down. And what does this mean? That what you eat at night, that last meal before sleeping, can make the difference between having a body that repairs itself or one that deteriorates in silence. During sleep, the body is not inactive. On the contrary, it is at that moment that it goes to work to repair cells, balance hormones, strengthen the immune system, and clear away the day's waste. But for that work to be done properly, it needs available energy, not a heavy digestion interrupting everything. A wrong dinner steals energy instead of giving it. It makes the body focus on digesting rather than regenerating. That can cause abdominal bloating, gas, night sweats, incomplete digestion, and over time, even liver disturbances. Moreover, if the food is very rich in sugars or simple carbohydrates, blood sugar levels rise quickly and then drop precipitously while you sleep. The result? You wake up without energy, with a clouded mind and a tired body, even if you've slept 8 hours. There is a saying that sums up this idea perfectly. What you have for dinner today determines how you will feel tomorrow. And it is not an exaggeration. Recent studies have shown that older people who dine on lighter, more nutritious foods tend to have better rest, greater muscle mass, less inflammation, and a higher capacity for concentration the following day. I'm going to tell you the story of Teresa. She is 68 years old. For years she ate the same dinner: bread, cold cuts, a bit of cake or something sweet with tea. Nothing that seemed harmful. But every morning she woke up with a bloated stomach, heavy legs, and a slow mind. She believed it was just age. Until one day she decided to change her dinner. She began to dine early, something light, with soft proteins, cooked vegetables, and an herbal infusion. It was not magic. It was not overnight. But in a week, she already felt less heaviness. In 2, she began to sleep better. And in a month, her doctor told her that her glucose levels were more stable, all from changing her dinner. After 60, we cannot afford to improvise. Our body asks us for care, and that care begins with understanding what it needs, especially at the end of the day. Because if at breakfast you fuel your energy, at dinner you protect your morning. And that, believe me, can change everything. Dinner to avoid 1. Dinner based on bread, cold cuts, and processed dairy. This might sound familiar. A quick, uncomplicated dinner. Toast with ham, a little melted cheese, perhaps a fruit yogurt to finish. Everything seems harmless, even light. But after 60, that combination can be more damaging than you imagine. White bread, cold cuts, processed cheeses, and sugary dairy products. 4 very common foods at dinner, and 4 silent enemies of the mature body. Let's start with the bread, especially white or industrial bread. It is a highly refined food with very little fiber and a high glycemic index. What does that mean? That it turns into sugar in your blood very quickly. And if you add cold cuts like ham, sausages, or bologna, you're adding a heavy load of sodium, saturated fats, and preservatives. The problem of sodium at this stage of life is not minor. It increases fluid retention, raises blood pressure, and overloads the kidneys. While we sleep, those organs should be repairing themselves, but instead, they must work extra to handle that excess. The melted or processed cheeses, although tasty, contain casein that is difficult to digest, unhealthy fats, and additives. It's not uncommon that after eating them at night, you feel heaviness, reflux, or gas. And the dessert that often accompanies this dinner, a sugary yogurt or a store-bought custard, full of added sugar and thickeners that disrupt the gut flora just before the most delicate moment for the body. Sleep. What consequences does this seemingly simple dinner have? Slow and heavy digestion. Interrupted sleep due to discomfort or the need to go to the bathroom. Abdominal bloating upon waking. Higher blood pressure in the morning. Gradual increase of bad cholesterol and risk of cardiovascular diseases. I'm going to tell you about Elise, a woman of 68, very active and careful with her diet. But every night she ate the same: bread with serrano ham, a slice of cheese, and a fruit-flavored yogurt. She said it was a quick, light dinner with no fats, or so she believed. But every morning, Elise felt her legs swollen, she slept poorly, and her cholesterol was rising without explanation. When she changed her dinner to a homemade zucchini cream soup with a boiled egg and a chamomile infusion, everything began to change. In a week, she slept better. In a month, her digestion was lighter. And on her next blood work, her cholesterol had dropped. The solution is not complicated, but it requires intention. Instead of bread, cold cuts, and melted cheese, try a homemade vegetable soup. For example, pumpkin with a touch of turmeric or carrot and ginger. Accompany it with a steam-cooked white fish fillet, a boiled egg, or slices of soft tofu with a little olive oil. Finally, you can have a digestive herbal tea like chamomile, lemon balm, or anise. Your body does not need large amounts of food at night. It needs foods that help it repair, not that make it work extra. Sleeping well does not start with the pillow. It starts with the plate you serve at 8 in the evening. Dinner to avoid 2. Sweet dinners or those with refined cereals. There is something that many older people continue to do without thinking. End the day with something sweet. Cookies with milk, breakfast cereals at dinner time, a chocolate shake, a snack bun, or even toast with jam, because that way I sleep with something in my stomach. And although it may seem like an innocent gesture, the truth is that sugar at night is one of the worst decisions for a body over 60 years old. Why? Because at that hour, the body is already winding down. Your metabolism slows, the sleep hormones begin to prepare, and the organs go into rest mode. Putting a load of sugar in at that moment is like turning on all the lights when it's already dark. When you eat sugar or refined cereals, like white bread, cookies, pastries, or boxed cereals, Your body responds by releasing insulin. That insulin has to work to remove the excess glucose from the blood. In a young body, that process is fast and efficient, but after 60, the pancreas no longer responds the same way, and insulin sensitivity decreases. The result? Blood sugar spikes that disrupt your rest. Storage of that glucose as fat, especially in the abdominal area. More work for the pancreas, which over time wears out and edges you closer to prediabetes. Nighttime awakenings, sweats, accelerated heartbeats due to hormonal imbalance. Feeling fatigued the next day, as if you haven't slept deeply at all. It is important to understand that the body is not designed to process sugar before sleeping. It does not burn it. It stores it. And when it turns into fat, many times it is not visible, but it settles in places like the liver or the interior of the abdomen, where it does damage slowly. I'm going to tell you the story of Emmanuel, a man of 68 who ate what he called something light. A glass of milk with cocoa, 4 cookies, and sometimes a bit of bread with honey. At first he thought this could not harm him, but every morning he woke up with a bloated belly, slept poorly, and began to feel pain in his lower back. One day, he decided to change. He replaced the cookies with a cinnamon infusion, a handful of walnuts, and a plain natural yogurt without sugar. In 2 months, he reduced his waist measurement by 7 centimeters, his sleep improved, and blood tests showed a drop in fasting glucose levels. The key? Nothing miraculous, just leaving sugar for the moment when the body least needs it. If it's hard for you to leave sweetness behind, start little by little. Change boxed cereals for oatmeal cooked in water or unsweetened plant-based milk. Change the chocolate shake for a plain natural yogurt. Change pastries for a handful of nuts with a relaxing herbal tea. Because dinner is not the time to reward yourself with sugar. It is the time to give the body the tools to rest, deflate, and repair itself. And if you still have doubts, remember this. What you eat at dinner many times is not seen at night, but is felt the next morning. Dinner to avoid 3. Heavy, greasy, reheated lunch meals. There is something that many people do without thinking, especially when they live alone or don't want to complicate things in the kitchen. Have for dinner whatever was left over from lunch. They heat up a bit of rice with sauce, a portion of meat, something fried from the morning, and that's it. It seems practical, it seems reasonable. But after 60, that habit has consequences that are not immediately visible. What for many is not wasting food, for the body can be an unnecessary burden just when it most needs rest. Let us consider for a moment what is usually in those reheated lunches. Meats with fat, or reheated. Rice mixed with heavy sauces, sometimes with cream or butter. French fries, breaded items, cold cuts. Thick broths or stews that have been in the refrigerator all day. What is wrong with this? At the digestive level, everything. After 60, the digestive system works more slowly. The stomach produces less acid, the liver is more fatigued, and the intestine inflames more easily. Giving it a heavy dinner, rich in saturated fats and reheated sauces, is like placing a backpack of stones on someone who is already tired. Moreover, during the night, the body should be repairing tissues, regulating hormones, and cleaning the brain of toxins. But if you give it a heavy dinner, it must dedicate all its energy to digesting. And when the body digests in forced mode, the effects appear. Abdominal bloating that lasts until the next day. Interrupted or shallow sleep. Feeling tired upon waking. And the most serious, the liver begins to become overloaded, accumulating fat little by little without you noticing. I'm going to tell you the story of Carmen, a woman of 71 years who always said, "I don't cook twice. Whatever is left from lunch, I have for dinner." For years she ate at night the same as at noon, stew, rice with meat, potato-based stews. But she began to feel bloated all the time. She slept poorly, woke with pain in her upper abdomen, and began to gain weight without changing what she ate. Her doctor did a checkup, and the diagnosis was clear. Fatty liver. Not because of excess sugar, nor from alcohol. From having a heavy dinner every night for years. When Carmen changed her dinners to softer preparations, such as steamed vegetables, pumpkin puree, or cooked fish with a bit of lemon, her digestion improved and her liver decongested within a few months. Do you see the difference? It's not about eating less, it's about eating lighter and wiser. After 60, dinner should not resemble a reheated lunch. It should be like a gentle hug for the stomach. Some good options: steamed cooked vegetables, which help cleanse and do not irritate. Soft scrambled eggs, a source of protein that is easy to digest. A light pumpkin or carrot soup without cream or frying. Steamed white fish, without sauces or breading. Remember, dinner is not the time to keep working. It is the time to begin resting, inside and out. And what you give your body during those final hours defines whether it recovers or wears down. So what can you eat for dinner? After hearing all of this, it is natural to wonder, so what do I have for dinner? What options do I have left? And the good news is this: you can dine well without giving up flavor or satisfaction. You just need to change your approach. The key lies in 3 very simple principles. Your dinner should be easy to digest. It should be rich in real nutrients, not empty calories. And it should include a light, high-quality protein. Because yes, after 60, your body still needs proteins, vitamins and fiber, but without the punishment of saturated fats, sugars, or processed foods that wear it down from within. Here are some practical, tasty, and above all functional combinations that can help you sleep better, maintain your muscle mass, and reduce internal wear. First option: homemade vegetable puree plus a boiled egg. A puree made with zucchini, carrot, or pumpkin, cooked over low heat and without cream. It digests very well, is gentle on the stomach, and provides fiber that regulates the intestine. The boiled egg, in turn, is a complete protein, easy to digest, and perfect for preventing muscle mass loss while you sleep. Second option: spinach omelette plus mint or chamomile infusion. Cooked spinach provides iron and antioxidants. A light omelette, without excessive oil, is a balanced and comforting dinner. The infusion helps relax the digestive system and prepares the body for rest. Third option: plain natural yogurt without sugar plus ground flaxseed plus walnuts. Ideal if you want something fresh and quick. Plain natural yogurt helps the intestinal flora. Ground flaxseed improves digestion and regulates blood sugar, and walnuts provide healthy fats for the heart and brain. An excellent option for those who tend to dine very late. Fourth option: steamed white fish with sweet potato puree. A perfect dinner for those who need to care for their cholesterol. White fish, such as hake or sole, is low in fat and high in protein. Cooked sweet potato is naturally sweet, rich in fiber, and helps regulate blood sugar without causing spikes. And how do you know which to choose? Think about what your body needs. If you suffer from slow digestion, purees and soft soups will be your best allies. If you need to care for cholesterol or your heart, opt for fish and nuts in small portions. If you are losing weight unintentionally, make sure to include a complete protein each night: egg, plain natural yogurt, or fish. And above all, listen to your body. The ideal dinner is not the one that fills you the most, but the one that allows you to sleep without discomfort and wake up with real energy, not just because your stomach is empty. What happens to the body when you change your dinners? Many people think that to improve their health, they need to make huge, drastic changes that are hard to sustain. But the truth is that sometimes it is enough to change what you do at night. Dinner is the last conversation you have with your body before sleeping. And when you change that message, the body responds, and does so quickly. Day 1 to 7. The first thing most people notice is digestion. Less bloating, less gas, less heaviness when going to bed. By stopping eating cold cuts, fried foods or sugars, the intestine stops inflaming. The night becomes calmer, and the stomach is no longer a factory working at full speed while you try to rest. Many report that they sleep more deeply from the first week. Why? Because the body, instead of being busy digesting a heavy dinner, can focus on repairing itself, on regenerating. The quality of rest improves, and that is noticeable upon waking. Day 8 to 20. You begin to feel lighter in the body in the mornings. Energy increases. You wake up in a better mood, without that sensation of having spent the night fighting against food. Your mind feels clearer, and your daytime digestion also improves. And something curious, many people regain an appetite in the morning. Previously, with copious dinners, they woke up without the desire to have breakfast. Now, with light and nutritious dinners, the body regains its natural rhythm. And that regulates blood sugar, emotional hunger, and helps you eat better throughout the rest of the day. Long term, the changes go far beyond good digestion. Weight is regulated without dieting. Skin improves because there is less inflammation and better rest. The body regains muscle tone because by sleeping well and eating light protein, you do not lose lean mass. The liver functions better because it stops being overloaded every night. This is not theory. It is the real testimony of people like Carmen, a woman of 74 years. For years, she dined on bread with cheese and a glass of warm milk. She thought it was the best for sleeping. But she woke up bloated, without appetite, and with fatigue that lasted all day. One day, she decided to change. She began to dine on pumpkin puree, a boiled egg, and an herbal infusion. By the end of the week, she was sleeping better. By 3 weeks in, her digestion had improved. And 2 months later, she had lost 3 kilos without trying, and felt more eager to walk, to go out, to live. She said in her own words, "It's not magic. It's that my body is finally working for me, not against me." And that is the key. Your body is not broken. It is just waiting for you to stop sabotaging it every night. Changing dinner is not a diet. It is an act of care, of listening, and the results, when you do it consistently, are inevitable. Frequently asked questions answered. What if I feel hungry before sleeping? It is completely normal to feel a little hungry before bedtime, especially if you dined early or your dinner was light. In these cases, it is advisable to opt for a small, healthy snack that does not interfere with sleep. Some options include a plain natural yogurt without sugar with a tablespoon of ground flaxseed, a handful of walnuts or almonds, a chamomile or valerian infusion. These foods are easy to digest and can help you fall asleep without overloading your digestive system. Can I have fruit for dinner? Which ones yes and which ones no? Fruit can be an excellent option for dinner, but it is important to choose the right ones. Some fruits, such as banana and kiwi, contain tryptophan and serotonin, which help promote restorative sleep. On the other hand, citrus fruits like orange or grapefruit can cause heartburn in some people and could interfere with sleep. Additionally, fruits with high water content, like watermelon or cantaloupe, may increase the need to go to the bathroom during the night. Is hot milk good or bad? A glass of hot milk before bed can be beneficial since milk contains tryptophan, an amino acid that helps produce melatonin and serotonin, hormones that regulate sleep. However, if you are lactose intolerant or have digestive issues with dairy products, it is better to opt for alternatives such as lactose-free milk or fortified plant-based beverages. Is it okay to have just a soup for dinner? Having a soup for dinner can be a healthy option, as long as it is nutritious and balanced. Homemade soups made from fresh vegetables are ideal, as they are light, easy to digest, and provide essential vitamins and minerals. However, it is important to avoid canned or instant soups, as they often contain high levels of sodium and preservatives. Additionally, for a complete dinner, consider accompanying the soup with a light protein source, such as a boiled egg or a piece of white fish. Can I have the same dinner if I have diabetes, hypertension, or high cholesterol? If you suffer from diabetes, hypertension, or high cholesterol, it is essential to adapt your dinners to control these conditions. Some recommendations include: opt for whole foods rich in fiber to help control blood sugar levels. Limit sodium intake and avoid processed foods to keep blood pressure within healthy levels. Choose lean protein sources, such as fish or legumes, and reduce saturated fat intake to control cholesterol. Remember that it is important to consult a healthcare professional or a nutritionist to obtain a personalized meal plan that meets your specific needs. At 60, 70, or even beyond, What you choose to put on your plate at night is not just a matter of nutrition. It is a silent but powerful choice. Every dinner you prepare, every decision you make at the end of the day, is speaking directly to your body and also to your morning. It is not about living in fear nor counting calories. It is about understanding that with the years, the body changes, and what it once tolerated easily, today can become an invisible burden. A heavy dinner, full of sugar or poorly combined, can steal your rest, inflame your organs, and make you feel more tired upon waking. That is why this video has not only been to warn you about what you should not eat, but to invite you to look at dinner with new eyes, to remind you that you have the power to choose what cares for you, that you can dine with self-love, with respect for your body, and with the wisdom that comes from experience. Changing what you eat for dinner may seem like a minor detail, a decision without importance, but in reality, it is one of the most direct and effective ways to improve your health, your energy, and your quality of life. You do not need complicated diets, only awareness, attention, and affection. So I invite you to reflect. What do you usually have for dinner? Were you surprised by any of the forbidden dinners we mentioned today? Is there any that you thought was harmless and now see with different eyes? Tell me in the comments. I will be delighted to read you, know your story, and share this space with you. This channel exists for that, to accompany each other, to learn together, and to take care of what matters most. Thank you for being here. Thank you for taking care of yourself. See you in the next video.